For the last 15 years, the Marvel Universe has dominated the box office. And even when critics complain of superhero fatigue, audiences still seem to turn up. But reaction to this latest film seems to be ushering in a sea change. Today, is Marvel's reign coming to an end? I'm Amil Niazi, sitting in for Elamin Abdelmahmoud. This is Commotion. Listen, we're going to get into the Marvels in just a minute, but as I'm sure you've heard, the actors' strike has ended. And there's a tentative deal being ironed out as we speak. And we talked a bit about this on yesterday's podcast, but we are so lucky to have Issa Rae here. She is an actor and a writer living and working in LA. Ashley, how are you feeling about this deal?
So good. So good. I'm just so happy the strike is over. I do think we waited. We got a really good deal that we can be so proud of from our negotiating committee. I know that there was a sticking point around like AI, and their best and final offer included being able to use scans of dead actors. And, a lot of people thought this is going to be what SAG, agrees to. This has gone on so long, and they still fought back. They wouldn't take that, best and final as the studios wanted us to believe. So I'm incredibly happy with the deal we got. I think, we're going to see some positive changes for actors, background actors. I think it's going to be good.
That's great. I mean, yeah, that's when you say it out loud, it sounds so dystopian and scary. So I'm glad that you guys managed to work through that. We also have the CBC's Eli Glasner. Eli, how are you doing?
Good.
This has been a busy couple days for you, I imagine.
Yes.
So this deal should give Hollywood about 3 years before both sides would possibly have to be back at the table. We've seen just how quickly our phones change, the streamers change, technology is evolving so quickly. A lot can happen in 3 years. Do you think the strike has set actors and writers up for an easier time moving forward?
I think the union was really interesting. Like, you look at last negotiation, they saw streaming was coming, and they actually kind of gave up points because they went, oh, this is the next big fight. Mm-hmm. So we're going to focus on streaming. And this time, just as Ashley said, at the end, it came down to AI. You want to talk about dystopian? They were talking about, Duncan Crabtree Ireland, the lead negotiator, was talking about synthetic actors. And the idea being...
No, we're all shaking our heads.
Yeah, I'm like, the idea being, I've already got your scan, so I'm going to add you to the database and create some artificial people to fill out a crowd scene, and maybe you'll be consented or maybe you won't, and will you get paid for that? Like, that is the conversation. Mm-hmm. And so I don't think it's perfect what they agreed to necessarily. We don't know the exact terms of the agreement, but the fact that we all understand now, this is where we are, this is what we're going to be talking about for the next few years, and that the union is taking it that seriously that I'm sure now, after a few years of figuring out what does it mean, maybe there are actors that want to be paid a lump sum to give away their digital identity, but maybe there's a lot of others who are worried about the ripple effects of what that means for makeup people and other crew members. So it just was fascinating to see synthetics as the issue that really kind of turned this negotiation.
Wow. Honestly, I'm not even going to get into how creeped out I am by that thought because we have a lot to get into today. Now, we're going to, of course, keep watching this story, see where it goes, see how it evolves. But for now, let's dip into the Marvel universe with this.
She's entangled our light-based powers.
So we switch places whenever we use them.
You can absorb light.
I can see it.
And Kamala...
Who's Kamala?
Hi.
She can turn light into physical matter, which I have never heard of.
I could totally show you.
No!
Oh my God!
I can't. Can you?
I got it.
That's a clip from The Marvels. It's the follow-up to the 2019 film Captain Marvel, starring Brie Larson as the most powerful superhero in the galaxy. For the sequel, Captain Marvel is joined by two other Marvels, a newer Captain Marvel played by Tiana Paris and Ms. Marvel played by Canadian actor Iman Vellani. The film also features one of the biggest actors in Korea, maybe one of the biggest names in the world right now, Park Seo-joon. And it's the first time in the MCU that a film is directed by a black woman in Nia DaCosta. There's a lot. Everything I've just said should garner a ton of buzz for a movie coming out the gate. But spoiler alert, that is not the case. And we're going to get into why that is, what it might say about the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Ashley, Ray, Eli Glasner, and eHarmony are all here and ready to dive into the group chat. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
Hey, happy to be here.
Okay, Harmony, let me start with you. Does the Marvels deliver?
I mean, I am easy to please here. There were great action scenes. There was cool special effects. And I just love Iman Vellani. She brings such levity and such heart to the movie. She was so charming. So for me, that was all I needed. There were a few cheesy scenes, but overall, I loved it.
If a few cheesy scenes is all the criticism, that's pretty good for a Marvels movie.
Exactly.
Eli, who or what, I should say, are the Marvels up against? What's the battle here?
Oh, you really want me to go? There's an evil Kree leader lady. She's got a magic hammer. I think her name might be Darbine. Ms. Marvel has a magic bracelet. She finds a magic bracelet. She's using a hyperspace jump point system to suck the resources from various planets because she really doesn't like the Skrulls. I'm getting bored describing this. I'm already losing you, probably half the audience. So what they're up against is the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
And there's so much stuff there. If you wanted to prepare for the Marvels, you should watch WandaVision. You should watch Ms. Marvel. You should probably watch a bit of Secret Invasion. I only got 3 episodes in. I didn't finish that. So there's so much stuff. But basically, evil alien trying to destroy another alien species, magic bracelet. That's bad. Let's go get her. There you go.
I mean, see, I always think that backstory is hard for the audience, but I'm sure it's also hard for a director who's not, attached to a series from the beginning because they've got a lot of legwork to do. Actually, Nia DaCosta, as I mentioned, directed this film. She's now the first Black woman to do that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They should pay me to say that. How do you think she did?
I thought she did an incredible job. I'm not one of those deep Marvel people. I've seen WandaVision. I hadn't seen everything leading to this movie, but I knew enough to, know the history, to know what I should be getting from this experience. And I thought she delivered. And it makes me so angry that people are saying she has made Marvel woke, that, she's being review bombed with negative reviews from people who are just angry a Black woman has been allowed to direct a Marvel movie. Mm-hmm. But she did an incredible job. This was a fun time. I want to see it again. I do. And I also loved Iman Vellani. I thought it was great. And so it really just upsets me that all of the negative we're seeing seems to just be centered around her race and people being upset that women of color are in a movie.
Well, let's talk a bit about some of that negativity, Eli, because, maybe some of it has to do with the strike, but I'm so used to a Marvel film, having months of preamble and people sharing Easter eggs and snippets and behind the scenes things. And I haven't really seen that. And when the trailer came out, that was just like an immediate wave of negativity and backlash. What's sort of triggering all this hateration, if I can? I
mean, part of it is what Ashley said. Like, you're always going to get that default group of just like angry men who are upset that there is a film centered around 3 powerful women and directed by Nia DaCosta. And so that is, to me, that's built in. That is just like background radiation, unfortunately, in film Twitter and when we had these conversations around Marvel. But I think there also was a concern that you have a movie with 3 different characters trying to do all that juggling, trying to service all of those things. And is this going to be the movie that the Marvel fans wanted? Because Marvel has been limping along. Are we in phase 5 now? Like, we're still trying to regain the glory days of when the box office was ruled by Marvel, for better and for worse. Yeah. You can make the case for worse. But it's interesting. You look at the trailers. The first trailers came out and they were kind of like, okay, here's our 3 characters. They put out a trailer that started with the Avengers. Like, Iron Man's not even around anymore. Like, why are you showing me Captain America? It's because they're worried that there isn't enough investment in these characters. But the challenge of this film is that they're trying to service Monica Rambeau, Kamala Khan, and Captain Marvel. Those are too many plates to keep spinning. And so I think you can feel that in the trailers. You can feel that in the promotion. Iman Vellani is She is the millennial Peter Parker. She is everything great about what's left of Marvel. She is the heart. She is the laughs. She is the smarts. And if the strike had been over and we had had her sparkling personality promoting this film, that would have made it. Plus, Brie Larson, who is a megastar, her first Captain Marvel movie made over $1 billion. So those are a lot of assets that were off stage as we waited for this movie to arrive.
Right. Well, Harmony, it kind of reminds me of what happened when we got the all-female Ghostbusters, or when we saw the backlash to the new Little Mermaid, you know, where we can explicitly say a lot of this is racism and sexism. Is this more of that, or are we seeing something different here that, you know, has to do more with the fatigue with Marvel?
Yeah, so I mean, was the movie a little busy? Yes, it was. And was this the best Marvel movie I've ever seen? No, it wasn't. But to me, a lot of this criticism seems like more of the same. I don't think it deserved the level of vitriol right out the gate before people even saw the movie. They were critiquing the trailer, and to such a degree. And a lot of the criticisms I saw were like, oh, this movie looks feminist, or there are too many people of color in this movie. It's kind of like, this movie is too representative of the real world that I live in. And is that really a valid critique? Like, I think there's something more going on there than just what they were seeing in the trailer or the movie. So I think a lot of the criticism is unwarranted.
Ashley, I see you nodding your head. Do you agree with that?
I absolutely agree. I did have fun. I want to see it again. I love a corny fun. I don't have to think about this movie.
Yeah, this film is silly.
At home and look at my phone. It's silly. There's a lot going on. But I still thought for the Marvel Universe, seeing this level of representation, it was really good. I mean, even on the other end, I think there are people who want to see diversity in these films and are afraid they're going to do it the wrong way. You know, I think it's not enough to just cast people of color to hire a Black director. You do have to see their voice reflected in the film. And for me, that was achieved. It didn't feel, you know, in that aspect corny or like they were just there to be diversity hires. They were really wonderful characters. So, you know, I think on both sides, they handle the representation really well, but there's always going to be those angry, angry people who go, in my head, my Miss Marvel was always a white girl with blue eyes, and what are you doing to my dreams?
Even the most serious Marvel movie is silly. People throwing like, you know, light and jumping around and flying and things like that. So I think we need to give it a bit of grace.
Marvel's magic is the way it found that balance between the fun and the fantastical, right? It's never been the stoic serious. That's DC. Those are those other films. Marvel was always about that enjoyment and connecting with those characters. And as confusing as this film is, and I think Nia DaCosta needed a little more space to make this movie her own. I don't really see her fingerprints on it because it's like Marvel Machine. You just put those inputs in and you get the same kind of VFX, the same kind of villain, but the characters, Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel, and who will become Photon or Monica Rambeau, those are the most shining points.
Okay. Well, I want to mention, you know, we talked about Park Seo-joon, one of the hottest actors in Korea right now, 25 million followers on Instagram, heavily marketed as being in the film. And yet people on social media are already saying they're disappointed. He's got less than 3 minutes of screen time. And it makes me think about what you mentioned, Eli, about having Robert Downey Jr. front and center, even though his character has died. About some of the, you know, it feels like a bit of, and I, you know, don't hate me for saying this, but a bit of a death knell for Marvel. And they seem to be throwing whatever they can at the wall to see what works. So, Ashley, quickly, last word to you. We've talked about audience fatigue. We've talked about this superhero genre maybe, you know, on its last legs. If that is a thing, what does Marvel, what does DC, what do these studios need to do to revive this genre?
I mean, I really do think it is refreshing the genre and the way we interact with superhero movies. I think the areas where we're seeing success, or at least where I'm enjoying superhero movies right now, it's Gen V, it's The Boys, it's Invincible. It shows that are funny, but look at the darkness and hypocrisy of superhero-dom without, you know, just praising it or, you know, acting like this is a franchise that we have to turn into $1 billion industry. It really does feel like it's about the emotional arc and the story again. So I think we need to get back to those roots, to being excited when like indie actors end up in a Marvel movie. Now I see that and I'm like, oh no, this actor I like is going to be stuck with Marvel for 3 years and they can't work on other projects. And so I think people want to see that type of ingenuity and art in their superhero films again.
Okay, I love that. I see Harmony shaking, nodding her head. I see Eli nodding his head. So The Boys. I mean, it's a great show. Okay, let's quickly switch gears to this.
Vision. It just gotta be fun, sexy, in your face,
Okay, it can be all those things, but my art is not for the male gaze. Hey. I want to make something relevant to people's lives.
Just say you want to be Queen Latifah and go.
I just really want this to work, Shauna.
It's gonna work. So we just getting started. It's me and you.
That's a clip from Rap Shit, the new comedy TV series from Issa Rae. Season 2 kicked off this week. Eli, in a nutshell, what is Rap Shit about?
All right. So they were friends in high school. We are in Miami. They went different ways. Shauna had a hot producer. She's trying to do her own thing, make more kind of conscious rap, you could say. Mia has multiple hustles going on. She has a daughter. And then they get back together. They have a night. They have quite a night. They go viral in their car. They do a stream and they're trying to capitalize. They're trying to make it work. I think one of the interesting things about it is the storytelling. It feels like it was sponsored by Instagram. This is like the vocabulary of social media. It's all like FaceTimes and people recording videos and TikToks and emoji reactions. But really at the heart is two very different friends who realize together they have something, but they have very different tastes when it comes to the rap stuff. And so they're trying to work that out.
Okay, I mean, it sounds great. I trust Issa Rae with my life. Ashley, we've seen the rap industry explored via shows like Empire and Atlanta. I think we've established a pretty good kind of vocabulary for this kind of show. Is there anything Issa Rae's doing here with this that maybe you haven't seen before?
Yeah, I think having two young Black women at the center of the show is something we haven't seen. Even in Atlanta, women were sort of relegated to the background. We had one female character who's really only there because she's dating the main guy. But it wasn't truly about her career aspirations. And in this, it is about that hustle. It is about one of the girls being a single mother and trying to figure out how she's going to do these shows and take care of a baby. So I think that reality coupled with this just really experimental shooting style, it genuinely to me feels like how the kids do things these days on TikTok and online. It takes a bit of getting used to when you're older. As I started watching the show when the first season premiered, I was a little like, oh, wait a second, what's going on here? Why am I on her phone? And I felt very old. But once you get used to it, you realize it's another way of communicating for them. Like you get what the different FaceTimes mean and like how excited it means someone is. And it just is another layer of storytelling that I think is really interesting here.
Harmony, you are an MC yourself.
I am.
We're outing you on this show. You are part of a rap group called the Hometown Herverts with Phoenix Pagliacci and Deja SB. What does your own experience tell you about the dynamics between this group and sort of what they're exploring in this series?
I thought this show captured so much so accurately, like the blend of different personalities, the different approaches to music. You have one person who wants to be the real, like super serious MC. That was probably me in the group, who wanted to be taken seriously. And like, I used to miss deadlines because I had to rewrite lines and rewrite them again because it wasn't smart enough. You have the character who kind of fell into rapping and then realized later on that she was good at it. And then we also see the super serious MC start to compromise her values and change her perspectives because she realizes that she's got to bend a little bit if she wants to get put on. But I also love how they capture the world around these two MCs and all of the other people who are invested in them succeeding. So you have the up and coming producers who want to kind of claim part of their success, or you have the fledgling manager who's also trying to be taken seriously, even though she doesn't really know what she's doing, or all of the friends and family who are watching these two MCs change and become more and more famous in real time and how they're handling that. So I thought they did a great job of capturing exactly what the grind is like, both the good parts and the not so good parts.
I love that. Well, while we're on the topic of women in rap, this past weekend, Missy Elliott became the first woman rapper to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Take a listen to this.
Nothing sounded the same after Missy came on the scene. Nothing. All the kick snares, everything changed. The bass lines changed, the pockets changed, the cadence, the writing. And that's because Missy has always been a futurist, someone who's always looking ahead.
That's Grammy-winning rapper and actor Queen Latifah giving Missy Elliott her flowers while inducting her into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which sets up kind of an interesting dynamic because, yes, on the one hand, it's so exciting for Missy Elliott to get this honor. You know, when those music videos came out, it was like life-changing what Missy Elliott managed to do. But then the obvious question it leaves is, why is Queen Latifah not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Why are Salt and Peppa not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Actually, what do you make of this disparity between who's in and who's not in?
It makes me angry because it makes no sense. It's in the organization as a whole. I don't know. I think sometimes they just throw darts at a board. It lands on a name and they go, they get to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now. For me, it's like shocking. Lil' Kim isn't in there. Salt and Peppa, like you said. Queen Latifah, whose music I listened to as a kid, it's shocking. So it angers me that Missy has achieved this honor and she is now in this Hall of Fame alone. She's the lone black female MC in this situation, and it shouldn't be that way. There should be, a group of Black women who are celebrated here. So it's just, it feels a little too late. But at the same time, I'm incredibly happy that she's getting these flowers. But it's like, what do we have to do? How much do we have to do to finally be recognized?
Well, I want to leave things on a very fun, positive note. I want to do some recommendations on the show. So before we go, let me get one film, TV show, music, song, book that you're reading that you really want people to check out over the weekend. Eli, let me start with you, and you got 30 seconds.
Back on 75 is an amazing track by Jungle. Shea Latukolin is the choreographer. If you've watched this music video like I have 1,000 times, the way these dancers move is so cool, so hypnotic. He started as like a street dancer in Amsterdam. Shea Latukolin, he is a magician, and I love that. Back on 74 by Jungle. Best thing ever. Watch it.
Love it. Harmony, how about you?
So Jack Harlow dropped a song called Lovin' on Me. He teased this a couple weeks ago on TikTok and everybody was looking for it. They were in the comments like, when is this song coming out? Drop it now. He has since dropped it and it did not disappoint. I usually hate when people tease like the best part of the song and the rest of it is a letdown. That's not the case here. I'll be listening to it well into the weekend.
Love this. We're getting hype for the weekend. Ashley, how about you?
I'm going to recommend Escaping Twin Flames. It is a new cult doc that just dropped on Netflix. I believe it's 4 episodes. It's incredible. It is about the Twin Flames cult. It is from the team that did Seduce, the documentary on the NXIVM cult, and they don't disappoint. They really come through highlighting the stories of the victims and how this internet cult was able to do so much damage. So it's a heavy watch, but if you're into cult docs, it's a good one for the weekend.
Ashley, I started it last night. My mouth was honestly agape the entire time. And my former colleague from Vice, Sarah Berman, is in the documentary as well, which I love. So yeah, definitely check that out. Check out all of these recommendations. And thank you so much to the 3 of you for joining us on today's group chat.
Anytime.
Thanks for having
us.
A. Harmony is a culture critic and music industry insider. Eli Glasner is a senior entertainment reporter at CBC. And Ashley Ray is a comedian, actor, and host of the podcast TV I Say. The Marvels, if you are so inspired to check it out now, comes out today in theaters. And season 2 of Rap Shit is available now. And that's it for the podcast. Before we go, I want to tell you about a book giveaway that's happening on our Instagram. Check out Commotion CBC for more details on how you can win a copy of Britney Spears' best-selling new memoir, The Woman in Me. And now let me tell you a bit about the amazing team who put Commotion on the air. It's produced by Stuart Berman, Ty Callender, Gene Kim, Jane Van Couverton, Jess Lowe, and Nikki Manfredi. Our digital producers are Amelia Ekbal and Shuli Grossman-Gray. Gene Kim and Jane Van Couverton also directed this week. Our engineers this week were Gabby Hagarilis and Sam Hashemi. The senior producers John Perry and McKeegan is our exec. Remember, you can listen to any episode of Commotion anytime, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Amil Niazi sitting in for Elamin Abdelmahmoud. Elamin's back on Monday. Thanks for listening.